let me show you what we've got. It's kind of exciting, really seeing how many of the bulbs have split over the last year, and I'll even show you bulbs that were planted a couple of years ago. Let's give you a show. So a good probably 1,000 bulbs are in the backyard at this point. Here we go with some crocuses that went in this year. Behind them you can see the striped foliage, and each one of these little packets here are baby bulbs, or sisters that have grown off of one mother bulb. This one was, I believe, Apricot Delight, and last year I didn't particularly like the foliage with these with the kind of purplish striations, but they're growing on me. Here you can see some hyacinths that last year I believe this was 1, 2, or 3 perhaps hyacinth bulbs, and as you can see they have split into, there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They probably split up into 7 at this point. And then you can kind of see what's happened with others as well, that they have multiplied. I think they're happy here, or either that or they're very unhappy. These here are, I believe, going to be the Lady Jane tulips that I put in a year before last that have given us one show already. Also sprinkled through are some lilac, what are they called? Lilac Wonder. Some other botanical tulips, a lilac color that I just put in. So I bet there's some of these ones in the back, I think especially, are going to be those Bakerai, B-A-K-E-R-A-I tulips, that are the species tulips. Starting over here, what is also starting to come up right over here in this area where you see that tag, those are going to be Carnegie white hyacinths. And then most of what is in the middle here that is growing and coming back, most of these are going to be a yellow hyacinth, not the Woodstock one, but because I think Woodstock is purple, but it'll come to me, but our yellow hyacinth. And then over on this end, on the right, where you can see that tag, those are a different hyacinth that Brent and Becky's sent me because the one I had ordered had run out of stock for them, or just wasn't available. So, but they're both white, and I thought it would be interesting to do a comparison of how the whites grow and what I think of them, because 1 or 2 websites actually say that there is no scent in the Carnegie white hyacinths, but they're very vigorous, like big, they're big, nicely shaped hyacinths, but that they don't have a scent. So that'll be interesting. In the front yard, today was the very first day that I saw bees out, and the bees were going crazy over the hyacinths. I honestly didn't see any bees at the crocuses as they came up, but I definitely put in the crocuses partially because they are one of the earliest bloomers that can help any any bees that are up early, shall we say. In the backyard, the crocuses are now just in full bloom. In the front yard, they are just about gone over. Over here, this one is going to be interesting. Lots of purple tulips. I got a bunch of mixes from like a purple mix from Costco. Also in here, I think especially in the front area, are some specialty tulips that I had ordered from, say, mostly Brent and Becky's, but also Van Engelen. So I think we're going to see those mostly here. It's going to be fun. In the raised bed, you've got a lot that are just simply coming up from last year. At least some are coming up from last year. The ones that are definitely coming up from last year with possibly some new ones sprinkled in are on this right side. Here I now have, I've got scabiosa. Well, I was trying to grow scabiosa and bee balm but nothing was happening. So I just put some additional seeds in there for, let's see, I had larkspur in the little one, I think. And I may have just put more of that bee balm into the big one. I think so. Over in the back there, those are tulips that I actually put in my first or second year in the house, so it's now coming up on probably year 4-ish. And they have simply, like I just threw them in here. Reason why is that this tree was originally accidentally put right there by the landscapers, and right behind there you can see the air conditioning unit, or no, like a big power transformer thing, with this all being and like electrical gas lines and stuff. So so I definitely did not want my $500 tree to be planted where the electric company or gas company would have to cut it down if they had to get underground. So, but here's what you'll see. In addition to walking carefully, because I literally have tulips just all over the place, and tried to leave myself at least a narrow path. But yeah, so over here, these tulips have been in the ground for a number of years. Last year, they also came up as these little groups, right? And all of these were all originally one bulb, but they have just continued to grow. Over here, I think you might be able to see 1 or 2 new tulips that I had put in. But yeah, most of these are ones that have simply come back for year after year. I've even found that many of these had like crawled their way up, frankly, as a bulb, to land at a higher level, because this here has a lot of mulch in it, and even some of the some research papers from, say, Cornell University, I believe, had indicated that that your tulips are more likely to come back and to naturalize if you plant them in a bunch of mulch, as opposed to putting them really deeply underground. But like to have, like, I don't know, 4 to 6 inches of mulch on top of them. And they definitely have that here. They're definitely coming back. I wonder, last year we got some blooms out of them. And I don't mind if they don't bloom every year, like they're growing. But it's exciting when they do. So maybe some of these will even naturalize, and then it was probably going to be time for me to like dig into here and try to separate more of these bulbs and give them each some room. But yeah, how awesome is that? These ones are kind of like a reddish pink color. I don't know exactly what they are. I would have said like exotic, or I would have said like a red impression or something, but they're not quite red. I don't know, we'll see. Then, as we hop back over here, I bought some very expensive Acropolis tulips, Acropolis daffodils last year, and I think I got maybe 2 or 3 blooms out of like 12 that I'd put in. I'm hoping that a couple of these are those coming back again. I did pop a few hyacinths in the ground as well. But yeah, you can see more things coming up. This part here was kind of especially soggy last year, so we'll see what happens. This is a lilac bush that will be blooming soon, hopefully. Yeah, you can see I really did. I got much closer to this bush in the last year, planting in more things, even going kind of right over in this area, just because I really wanted to get some things in the ground, and that was an available spot. I still need to clean up these rose bushes. These are yellows, and they did lovely last year. But yeah, over here, these are new plantings. What I put in, kind of right now, I'm looking at that area. We've got the crabapple tree right there that actually has some buds going, so I'm going to have to get the fungicide on them, or whatever it is, the apple scab treatment, since crab apples in this area are very susceptible to specific diseases that you can hopefully, like the scab, that hopefully you can get lessened with the treatment. And I did it last year right around this time, and the tree definitely benefited from it. Anyways, right over here, I liked the Merlot tulips that I put in the ground last year. Those are a lily kind of Merlot colored tulip, you know, like a maroonish deep red, and they were beautiful. So in this area, I've got several others. I think I bought some Vincent van Gogh, which is like an almost black fringe tulip, plus maybe something called Lasting Love and something else, just to get more of those darker red tulips. And I think most of them will be late blooming, so we'll see what happens. There's a few more tulips around there. Yeah, I mean, it was just a frenzy by the time I was getting these bad boys in the ground. You can see these here are some additional tulips that have, I mean, you can really just see how they split. Like, this was one bulb, and now it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5. There's 3. This one is at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That one's at least 6 now. You know, just doing beautifully. And then some daffodils. And you can see my my dappled willows. They are already starting to leaf out really nicely. This one is a burning bush that came back to life after I thought it was almost dead. So that was exciting. And that's a black tower elderberry. You can see more of the tulips. Some of them, the ones that are coming in like this, these are ones that I just put in newly. These ones over here, I believe, are ones that that have split from last year. I put in some there. And then this is a fun part. So this here, other than, I think I popped in a couple of these yellow species crocus, and you can see how tiny they are. Like, they're really tiny, like they're as long as my thumb. But other than putting in a couple of those, these were all deliberately left from last year. So they've had 1 year to naturalize, and you can really see how they split as well. So like ones that were, I kind of put them in lines across of, like, in the front here are some hyacinths and some crocus and a few muscari. What I really liked about the muscari that are coming up here too are, or that hopefully will come up, is that they're the muscari latifolium. So the leaves on those muscari look more like tiny tulip leaves, as opposed to these sort of grassy leaves that the crocus get. So hopefully those will come up. And then I just kind of planted in lines. Like, I think the back ones are probably pink impression tulips. And then I believe, you know, I had some apricona, I had some daffodils. But yeah, but you can just see how they split. Since I did have them, you know, like literally in a row, like 1, 2, 3, 4. And one has turned into probably 4 there. This here is an especially good bunch of examples. Like this here, one turned into at least 4, maybe 5. This here, you know, I mean, it's possible that a couple of these have blended together, but I think each one has really split at this point just quite a bit, and it's just very cool. And then back here, this is where I had let some allium rest while I was waiting to dry for seeds. And look at this, you can see that some of the seeds that, you know, that just kind of fell off the flowers, there's the little top of it that it has sprouted from now at the top of there. But yeah, so these are all little baby alliums, and I may pull some of them elsewhere and just get more alliums in the ground too, probably at the end of this year. I don't know, there's a lot sitting there. But yeah, so here's the view from this direction, and yeah, it's just starting to wake up. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon. And if this is my nephew Kyle, I love you, honey. Bye.